to our reporter Mike Maringa. As we mentioned, over 600,000 vehicles stopped by traffic police and more than 500 roadblocks. So, Mike, where exactly are you speaking to us from, and what is the situation there just in terms of vehicles per hour?
Good afternoon. I'm on the N1. We are between Lutrigad and Musina. This is where motorists are now making their way into Musina, where we were in the morning up until late this afternoon, where we were with the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, giving us the fatality stats for this festive season. It has been confirmed that 589 people died from 489 crashes this year. It's a 10% reduction of what we have seen in the previous year, but it's still a cause for a concern for the minister, indicating that the number is still too high. What he has also said is that while they were inspecting the border, they have also were alerted that there is an element of corruption where people are allowed to go in without proper documentation, whereas others do not have everything that is needed for them to pass through in between the two. So that's where we are standing now. In the very same in this same time last year, we had about 839 fatalities. The minister said he's happy about that, but more can still be done. Hence the decision that was taken by the Minister of Police to say they need the men in blue to be on standby to work throughout the festive season. Minister Mbalula said they are doing the same with their traffic officers. They are mending roadblocks in between Pretoria and the Beitbridge border post. But let me quickly paint a picture here. All the cars that you see that are passing behind us are going into Beitbridge, and what we have witnessed there before we left is that these cars are still going to pile because there are just too many cars there. They will not pass now. Some of them might even get a chance to pass early tomorrow in the morning. What we have also witnessed in the morning is that people are abandoning their cars or the public transport that they are using. They are walking into the border gate to have their papers processed so that by the time the vehicles are cleared, they are able to go through. So that is the picture that we are having. Traffic officers that are working there, they will work around the clock, and also customs officials as well, to ensure that everybody who is on their way to their respective destination, could either be Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Malawi, or the DRC, they get assisted on.
All right, so let's talk about especially Zimbabwe. Earlier reports suggesting that there has been a long line of motorists who are preparing to cross into Zimbabwe, especially around the issue of fuel shortages. Are we still seeing high numbers around that area?
Yes, the numbers are still very high. When we left, the traffic was baking to about 5 kilometers or so. Hence, I'm saying traffic officers or officials will have to work around the clock to see to it that everybody is assisted. What is happening is that we've got cars or vehicles that are coming from Gauteng. The plan was to drive overnight so that by early in the morning, they are at the Beitbridge border post. They get their papers processed and they will be able to pass through. But unfortunately, the situation has changed this time around. It looks like we've got more vehicles than we have ever seen in the history of people who make use of that border post on this festive season. But this time around, the number is a little bit higher. And what we have seen also is that immediately when the minister and his entourage left Musina, there was chaos because the number of traffic officials who were there assisting, some had to leave also with their political heads. So the situation as we speak now is in such that people are literally walking, carrying their bags on their head, walking into Zimbabwe. You spoke about the issue of fuel shortages. Because of the high number of vehicles that we have seen today, yes, as in late yesterday, there was a problem of fuel shortage, but it looks like the business people around the area saw that coming, and today the problem was fixed. And the likelihood is that if the number is going to increase like we've seen, we might have another shortage of fuel as in tomorrow, because you'll remember that we are still expecting a high volume of vehicles that are coming from Gauteng, because what we have seen over the years is that people prefer to go home on the 11th hour. So even tomorrow we are expecting a chock-a-block traffic that will be baking for kilometers from Musina town into the Beitbridge post, which is a distance of about 10 kilometers. We are hoping that there will be enough officials to deal with that.
So, Mike, just a heads up to motorists, which roads in particular are going to be inundated? Obviously, you're talking about the national roads, but are there any alternate routes that might just be experiencing high volumes of traffic because of this?
Yes, look, I did not get the last part of that, but what we are getting from traffic officials is that this has been the trend over the past few days, where motorists come overnight. And one thing that I did not highlight earlier on is the issue of overloaded vehicles, taxis that are pulling trailers that are overloaded. They broke on the way. We have passed over 20 of them that were broken along the way, and it's a problem to those who are traveling, because their plan was to be at home at least a day or two before Christmas. But because of these unfortunate incidents, some of them are forced to sleep on the side of the road. Others are lining up at the Beitbridge border post, hoping that their vehicles will be fixed. So, and one other issue that we have seen, when Minister Mbalula and his entourage were busy inspecting the vehicles there, we still have people who are driving under the influence of alcohol. One of them was arrested. And also unroadworthy vehicles that are also problematic at times, and they are cause of these many accidents that we have witnessed. But they've spoken about that they have given traffic officials, police officers who are also on the road, to say if there's a vehicle like that, it must be impounded, it must be taken off the road, and those who are traveling must make means to get an alternative transport to take them to their respective destinations.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Maringa, reporter who speaks to us from Musina in Limpopo.